fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Show here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, Izuku Midoriya, he has just pulled a Sword of the Demon Lord followers, or the follower of the Demon Lord's sword, from the stone. Now, the people who witnessed this event believed Midoriya to be a Demon Lord himself, since the amount of power required was more than any human should have been able to muster up. Now, Midoriya, he is at level 15, and him and Bella, they did then head out towards the guild building, where Midoriya, he basically told the person inside to give him the hardest mission that he wants. And Midoriya, he did then take off without the lady even really officially telling Midoriya he is a part of the guild, or a member. Now, we do have where Midoriya, he did go out into the forest with Belle. As Midoriya, we do cut to him about an hour later, where they've stopped the carriage and are currently in the middle of the forest. Belle, she is beginning to set things out, and she did walk away to begin to pick up firewood. She believes that they are going to be making their camp here for the night, and that if they are going to be staying here, they at least need to gather some resources. Now, as I said, you do actually have Midoriya who does go to sip water from the stream, and he actually is then cleaning off his blade. Now, Midoriya, he does look at this unique weapon, and he does ask his system about it. As his system does begin to inform him, Midoriya, he does hear a scream, along with a few branches break as Midoriya, he does turn and rush forwards. Now, we do cut back over to Belle roughly a few seconds before, where she was picking up dry twigs and seeing exactly if they were dry enough. Whenever a twig snapped in her hand, she did add it to the pile she was growing, and she did then put it under her arm, as she'd have quite a large bundle at this point. Now, she did then go to pick up another twig. As she did so, you do actually have where she did turn her head, and her eyes met directly with a large wolf, as she did freeze for a second before bringing her hand up with a twig and directly trying to smack it in the face. Her then turning and running as she did then scream. As we do then have seconds later, Midoriya, he does appear right there. Him going to grab the wolf right as it did go to grab away at Belle's shoulder. Midoriya grabbed the wolf by its throat and then forcing it up into the air as Midoriya, he did then take his blade and stab it directly into the wolf's head. As Midoriya, he did then turn to Bella, asking if she was alright. Now, Midoriya, he does see that she is a bit wounded, as she does hold onto her shoulder. Midoriya, him stepping forwards and going to bend down. As Midoriya, he does go to reach out his hand, she does go to smack it away as she does begin to scurry backwards. And Midoriya, he does see that. You're wounded. You need to get that treated. Sorry. It's something I'm just not comfortable with. Physical contact? Yes. I understand that. Midoriya does say. Him picking up something behind him. Get back to the carriage. Get back to the carriage, Midoriya would say. Him turning around and bringing his hand up to grab his sword, as he does then pull it out of the tree where the body of the wolf does fall. Now, Midoriya he does go to also then draw his second blade, as he gets ready to fight. Midoriya him actually going to rush it forwards, and he does jump up into the air and then go to jump off of a tree. Now, as Midoriya he does do that, he does then go to bring up his hand. And with his, well, regular blade, he does go to try and do the do the slashing attack. As he does so, he does cut through a tree, as he does split a wolf in two. Midoriya him then hearing howling as the pack, they do decide to go on the offensive. And Midoriya he does then actually go to smash down into the forest. As 6 wolves, they all do try and rush Midoriya all at once. And Midoriya he does quickly tear his way through them. Now, with all that all said and done, we do actually have the swordsman that has been following Midoriya and Bella, who, their ears, they actually did twitch as they were going through the same area where Midoriya's carriage passed through about 30 minutes earlier, as they did head that way. Now, they actually do come upon the scene, as they're looking from across the river at this guy who he's battling against an entire army of wolves. Midoriya him going to attack and handle a few of them, as one does directly bite into Midoriya's forearm, and then one does go for his upper, well, bicep. One then going to actually attack Midoriya in the back and directly bite him on the side where his kidney would be. Midoriya bringing down the butt of his blade and smashing and breaking the skull of the one that holds onto his kidney. Midoriya stabbing the blade directly through the one on his forearm before letting go and then going to jam his fingers in the one that has its mouth on his upper bicep. Midoriya jamming his fingers directly into its eyes as it does then grab onto the inside of its skull. And Midoriya, he does go to slam it downwards hard. Now, the person they are watching, that's a big pack. That's not good. Now, she's assuming that Midoriya, he took on the mission to hunt down the wolves in this region. And Midoriya is lucky he's only fighting the ones that haven't grown too big yet. Now, we do then have where the girl, she does speak a bit too soon. As out through the forest, Midoriya, he does see it. Many of the surviving wolves that are wounded, they do try to limp away, as a large howl is heard. As it pierces through the trees, and Midoriya, he does see it. A wolf that's just as big as the carriage he rode herein. And it's larger than a horse. And Midoriya, he sees it. Now, Belle, she does actually go to look back towards the forest where Midoriya was. As Midoriya, he actually does have his, well, system alert him. Warning, opponent's level above your own capacity. Really? Yes. You are currently facing off against a unique creature. Unique? Yes. Now, Midoriya, he does hear his system begin to explain it. As Midoriya and the creature, they do both face off against one another. Midoriya, he does look to his right. He's got 3 wolves impaled on his legendary or his demon sword. And on his left, directly on the ground, his other blade is pierced into the skull of another one. Midoriya, he does actually go to bend it down slowly and bring his body closer to the ground. If Midoriya, he does go for that legendary blade, he can use that slashing technique and probably kill this thing in a few seconds. Now, Midoriya, he does begin to start bending his knees and lowering himself closer and closer to the ground, as he does jump right and head for that weapon. This giant wolf going to shout out with its own magical power. Now, Midoriya does watch as a sound wave, or at least what he believes to be a shout attack, does wreck the forest in front of him. And Midoriya does actually leap up into the air to get out of its range. Midoriya, watching the trees that were there get torn apart and fall over. Midoriya going to scream to Belle to move the damn wagon. Now, Belle, she does quickly jump into the front seat and begin to start moving the wagon away. The horse is already freaking the hell out. And now that it has the chance to get out of here, this thing does run off with the wagon. And we do then have Midoriya, who he does just look back at the wolf. Now, Midoriya, he does go to rush downwards and jump off of the tree. As he does go to, well, fly in and directly slash across the wolf's side. The wolf then going to at least try and kick Midoriya or hit him with its giant body. And Midoriya, he's then flying, smashing through a tree. As it does happen, you have Midoriya who does actually go to fall downwards before jumping back up onto his feet and rushing in. Midoriya leaping forwards at high speeds as he does use his bloodlust skill. And as he does do that, he does actually go to run his hand over his blade. Now, you do actually have the swordsman who is confused by Midoriya. He did do that. As Midoriya, he does then go to stab directly into the wolf's body before he is actually then hit away. Now, the swordsmen, they do watch. Midoriya, he is flung around and he does directly smash onto the ground before rolling, before just jumping back up. As Midoriya, he does jump back up, the wolf is rushing him at high speeds. It's about to smash into his body and send him flying. And Midoriya, he does just plant his feet on the ground. As he does go to force his hands out in front of him and directly collide fist with the wolf's head. Midoriya grabbing onto it as he does keep his feet planted. The wolf being slowed down as Midoriya, he is still in front of it more and more. Midoriya, him looking it directly in the eyes as he does use his bloodlust skill and bring his fist backwards. Him punching his fist directly into its eyeball and casting Fireball, Fireball, Fireball. Midoriya trying to spam his magic skill. Now, you do actually then have where Midoriya, he does pull his fist outwards and he does then go to leap backwards, as the wolf's head does begin to swell up and explode. Now, as it does do so, you do actually have where smoke and, well, steam are rising up from its exploded head. And the swordsman is looking on in both they are both impressed and disgusted. That was pretty brutal. And then Midoriya, he does go to walk back around before taking his blade. And he does then turn around and look in the direction where Bella is. As he does quickly turn that way and rush off. As Belle, she is still moving and trying to control the horse. As eventually Midoriya, he does catch up to her. And he does tell her to turn the wagon back around. Now, she is confused, considering the fact that Midoriya, he's directly in front of her and the horse. That makes no sense. How did he even get here? Now, Midoriya, he would explain to her as he does go to walk forwards that she went around the river. And all he had to do was listen for the carriage. What? Yeah, you panicked too much. Sorry. I told you to stop apologizing to me. Did you? I did. It's dead. What are you to say? Something that he understands now why it was such a difficult quest. However, it was also an impressive one. Now, the two, they do head back to the spot, where Midoriya, he does begin to start collecting the tails of these wolves. And you do actually have where Midoriya, he does look back at the creature and go to take his blade. Now, Midoriya, he is informed by his system that he has received conditions for a new skill. And Midoriya, he does hear what the skill is. That sounds interesting. What is it? Apparently this thing was an alpha. What? Yeah. So one of the reasons why my skills couldn't beat it alone. Really? That was an alpha? Yes, it was. I wondered why it was pretty powerful. I understand it. It was full grown. What? That's full grown? Well, not just that. An alpha werewolf, as I'll say. It's different from a regular one. They have to be bigger and stronger to lead the entire pack. Along with that, think about it like this. They won't allow the weakest to lead them. So the biggest and strongest, they always lead the clan. And they can be challenged. If they're challenged by a wolf that's bigger and stronger than them if they die in combat, then that wolf is the new leader. I'm guessing this one's been the leader for a long time. Wow. Yeah. So, what do I have to say? As he does hear about how his hunting perk has just jumped past level 15. Now, Midori was caught off guard by that, asking his system why it increased that much. His system informing Midori that the unique encounter was not expected. Along with that, he just defeated something that does outclass him in levels. So, that's what you were meaning. Yes. This unique encounter was a double XP event. Double XP. How many skill points do I have now? The system informed Midori that he currently has this many. And Midori, he does begin to start distributing them. As Midori, he does go to bring his hand up, he does hear some bushes rustle on the other side of the river. Midori then looking in that direction, as you actually have the swordsmen, who they were trying to sneak away. Now, they wanted to go on the other side of the river and greet Midoriya, and at least ask him to help train them. Now, Midoriya, he does quickly leap off, and he does make his way on the other side of the river with a few jumps, as the person was sneaking away. Them looking behind them to try and see the guy who was sitting there next to a freshly skinned wolf pelt. As they do turn back around and directly encounter what looks to be a pair of abs. Oh my. The person then looking up as they do see that man. Midoriya asking exactly, why are you following us? Well, give me an answer. An honest one. I saw what happened back at the village and are you here to try and kill me? No, it's nothing like that. Listen, I've. Well, I'm seeking to become a swordsman. A stronger one. I see. And you think I can train you? Yes, please. The person bowing in front of Midoriya. Midoriya looking at this person and just thinking, So, traditions like Japanese ones exist here too. Huh. I don't know what I can do for you. Please, I saw your strength. You're incredibly powerful, and I know. What do you say? Him informing this person that he's had to become powerful. And it's really only because of what's happened to him. Now, this person, who I will just be calling Lee for right now, she does look at Midoriya. And she does ask to please be taken on as his disciple, or at least as his student. Midoriya, him looking directly at Lee and informing her that he will not take her on. Why? Because I have a few problems with exactly you being my student. Am I not strong enough? Do I have to prove myself to you? No. What? Listen. I have a lot of things going on right now. First of all, I have to try and understand what's going on in this crazy world. Second, I'm trying to get somewhere and more people means more mouths to feed. Along with that, I don't want to have to stop every time. But I can pull my own weight. I can. Third, what would you have to call me if you were a student of mine? Hmm? Um, the girl going to open her mouth to say master as Midoriya does directly bring up his hand and inform her never to say those words in his presence. Yes, yes. What is your name? I don't have one. Surely you're joking. It has to be something, right? Now, Midoriya does go to walk back towards the river, informing her that he has none, as he does leap across. The girl watching as she does want to do so. However, she would get swept away in the strong current, as she does go to walk around, which would take about, let's just say, 20 minutes. Now, eventually she does walk up to the campsite, as you do actually then have Bella, who would see the stranger, asking Dorzai exactly who is that. Now, the girl would hear that name, and she does look back at the man. Oh, so that's why he doesn't want to be called that. Now, Midoriya, he is sitting there, with a small little blade in his hand as he's skinning the wolves and taking their pelts. You could use a hand with that. Along with that, you're not using proper cutting techniques. Like I care. A pelt is a pelt. Yes, that is true. However, the quality of them is what merchants look for the most. Maybe. However, Roya pointing out towards the forest, saying that he's got a few pelts over there too. I see. Now, the person, or Lee, she does go to walk away, as Bella does try to ask Midoriya exactly who is that. Midoriya informing her that it's a stranger who has been following them. Her surprised and shocked as Lee, she does come walking back up with 3 wolves in her arms. Her dropping their bodies as she does then go to reach into her bag and pull something out. Now, when he does turn his head whenever she did put her hand in her bag, her pulling out what looks to be a herb, or a medical herb. As she does then go to walk towards the water and grab something else out of her bag. Now, she does then sit over and walk. She does then walk over and sit down as she does begin to start pulling things out. And he does look at what she's doing. She does put water down into this little bowl and then put the herb inside. Her then grinding it down and then mixing it with a few other things. As she does then water it down some more and then go to pour the contents into what appears to be a little bowl. Her then handing this over to Bella and saying that she will need this. No thank you. It's medicine. It's gonna heal you. Now, Midoriya, he would hear that, as he does go to pick up one of these herbs and look directly at it. Midoriya's system informing him of healing properties and healing herbs, identifying this one as this species of this variety, and then giving Midoriya a, well, herbal collection or a healing perk. Now, or let's just say it's called the crafting perk. Now, Midoriya, he is surprised, as he does put at least 5 to 10 points in this perk, as he does then look down at everything she does have. Midoriya's system telling Midoriya what certain things are and informing him of his gaps, or at least the gaps of Midoriya's knowledge. Now, Midoriya he also does then go back to check over at his skills. Now, he does then put at least, let's just say, points into his Master Swordsman, as Midoriya he does jump from what would consider to be a, let's see, Actually, I think that perk leveled up to warrior. So let's say Midori he at least has a separate perk called at least let's just call it a separate perk for right now that allows Midori to train in swordsmanship. Or at least it's called weapon handling. Now, Midori he does increase this perk by at least 20 to 40 points, dumping his freshly gained skill points into it. Along with Midoriya, him even looking into the crafting ability more. It does find it all to be quite interesting. As we do have later that night, where Midoriya, him and these two are both all sitting around the fire. Midoriya he has gathered a few berries, and he was curious to know whether or not they would have been edible. As he did begin to start learning more about nature and exactly how things work out here in the woods. Now, the night would pass, and Midoriya, he would then head back into town as he does walk into the guild building. The woman who was there yesterday does see Midoriya, as he not only has that one girl following him, but that one who asked about him as well. Midoriya, him, going to grab something from behind him, as he does then hold it up. The woman looking shocked as everyone does look his direction. As Midoriya, he does hold up what appears to be a alpha wolf's tail, and a bundle with at least what can be described as 17 other tails. Midoriya tossing that down and informing the lady that that's what he found yesterday. Oh, well, that's unexpected. We didn't expect anyone to encounter that beast. That beast? Yes, there's a bounty for it. We didn't know it was so close to town. Yeah, well, it does tend to happen. Now, Midoriya asking the lady exactly for his reward. The woman going to grab these tails and take them away. As somebody, they would hand Midoriya a pouch. And Midoriya, he would look at it. Him picking it up and then going to walk away with his rewards. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.